Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated.
I don't have a
Nerdcore
song,
used to be
but
just a
Kyle
made-up word.
does.
MCs shied away from
Marvel MCU rumors too. Marvel MCU and reviews. Marvel movies and reviews. Marvel rumors and stuff too. I don't know. That's best for.
Yeah, you did it to Scooby-Doo.
I had it all in my head earlier, and then I've
I bet
lost
it
it. I should have
sounded
wrote it
good.
down. I was going down the road and like I was driving, and that's not.
I'm actually pleased you didn't write it down. Driving down the road.
We just had to fumble through it a little bit, but we're fine. We're
But
fine.
we're fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
You know what else is fine? Welcome to Every Man's Guide to Nerddom, where we are two 30 to 40-something-year-olds who talk about pretty much whatever we want. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kyle. And if you guys would like to participate and be part of the community, there's a link in the show notes down below for the Discord. Click that link, join the Discord below us. And yeah, it's free. All kinds of stuff to talk about in there. We've got all kinds of categories. There's stuff for beer and wrestling and comics and anime and what else we got in there? Ball sports and movies and video games. Tattoos, art.
Shantae was showing off her tattoos.
So, talk about all the stuff that you just geek out about. There's something in there, and there's just general talks. There's voice channels. If you guys want to meet up with some people, play some games together, we're doing a lot of Fortnite and such here lately. And also, if you just want to kick back and passively enjoy some video games, watch Chris and myself. We both stream on Twitch every week, typically at least every Friday and Saturday night together. Do Freaky Fridays where we do just some random community games. We do Spooky Saturdays where we play a lot of indie horror games. You can catch Chris over there on Twitch at Guyver Unit 01, GUYVERUNT 01 on Twitch. Mine's a little bit shorter, the username. It's KSIG, K_SIG. Come hang out with us. It's good times. Mostly it's just me and Guyver doing scare alerts back and forth at each other, trying to scare each other. And yeah, so that works out pretty good. So yeah, check that out.
I will tell you, Kyle did throw his mouse this weekend.
I did. And if you want to see that, there's clips in the Discord of me getting scared and throwing things. So worth it.
All right,
the content.
I'm trying
Think
to
of the children.
find. We have a new listener of the week.
Oh, we do.
Mr. Ben Hoover.
Oh, Ben.
Ben, I believe Ben lives in, I want to say California. Married to a good friend of mine, Dr. Cheryl Sixkiller.
Doctor.
Lady.
Doctor
Lady.
Doctor Lady.
Ben is, I don't know if he recently discovered us or has been listening, but he has been, I know he's been enjoying the episodes.
I mean, he's just been slightly nerd curious. And
He has been, he's a little nerd curious. And like us, he is a girl dad.
Oh,
So
God bless him.
Yeah, God bless you, Ben. So he thinks it's pretty cool that, we're pretty pro female empowerment and everything. Well, I am. I don't know about Kyle.
I don't think anybody needs any power. I'm
No,
just anti-empowerment for everyone.
He really is. Like,
Yeah.
Ben, if you want to kick Kyle in the nuts, feel free.
I'm not very tall, so you don't have to get your foot very high.
No,
Well, and I'm getting older, so that kind of balances out a little bit. So yeah.
It's like, we are the hooligans. Just knock him.
Yes.
So, Ben, thank you very much for listening. We appreciate your support.
Appreciate it, Ben.
Come to the Discord.
Yeah, join us.
Yes. So, yeah, there's our listener of the week. So, what are we talking about today, furry friend?
Well, we what kind of spurred this a little bit was I finally got caught up and watched the finale of Miss Marvel yesterday.
And I texted him after I got done with it.
Yeah, a few days behind, and I finally got to watch it. I'm like, oh, there is so much from that, from the new Doctor Strange, from all the things that we know that are coming out, but the last two big installments from Marvel has really, gave us an insight of where the direction that it's going. And there's a lot of people very excited for this. A lot of people around our age very excited for us, some things that we grew up with watching. And so we're going to talk about rumors and, our predictions for what's going to happen in the future for Marvel and the new things coming up. Welcome to the world of tomorrow.
Welcome to the future.
It's going to be great. Why do you always have to say it like that?
Okay, let's preference this too. When Kyle talked about the last two, we should actually preference it's the last three, but he and I have not seen Love and Thunder, which just came out last weekend.
Yep. And there's really not much coming from Moon Knight, really.
That we know of.
That we know of yet. There was nothing that was just like, bam, this is in your face. But
Kevin did say Moon Knight's going to play a bigger part.
Good, because that was an awesome series. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about probably a lot about Miss Marvel. We're going to talk a lot about the new Doctor Strange movie. So this is a little different from what we would recap one property, one movie, one series, something like that. We'll nerky it. We'll break it down scene by scene, but there's just so much stuff that we're going to shoot from the hip and see what happens with it. Because we kind of halfway did this last night on stream because we were just killing some time.
We blew our load early.
We did way too early, and we slightly regret it.
When you get over 40.
It happens to everybody at some point. But we just sit there and just talk for like 30 minutes, and I was like, man, we just that was half of a show right there that we could have had.
We've ruined it.
So we're just gonna go. I don't remember anything that we talked about. So
I don't either.
Maybe it'll respark. Chofi, he's just sitting there right now, like I remember everything because he was there. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool rumors. There's some that have already been debunked, but I want to talk about them anyways because they're just fun to talk about. Like the what if they would have happened, what if they would have done them, and so we'll really kind of dive off into that, and it's gonna be fun. So, okay, so you guys don't know it, but now we're back. Apparently, our internets froze mutually. Something happened.
It's melting. Okay, so let's preference this too.
It's freaking hot.
Yeah, it's freaking hot. If you all hear a background noise right now, Kyle's been to this room where I game and we record in.
Yeah.
It's hot. It gets hot in here and gets cold in the winter. So you may hear the fans. I don't care.
The cold's easier to handle than the hot.
Yeah, it's 103 it's 105 without the heat index. I think they said with the heat index, it's 108. And I've been outside grilling too.
Yeah, it's flipping hot. I have a very strategically angled floor vent under my desk that it's really it's not blowing out the computer, but it's keeping me nice and you know what else would help in this heat? Because we get hot, we walk around a lot, we get sweaty, we start chafing. What would be great
hold on
to use in this? If you guys don't know about this product, it's amazing.
Hold on.
Chris is working on it. He's getting there with it. If you're not watching the video part of this, then the video part would help.
Okay, now do it.
Chassis men's care for your undercarriage. It's great for
your undercarriage.
Yeah. Chris will have to relate to it a little bit more than I will because I got to get me a can.
I may get you a can just so you can try it.
I'm going to get on Amazon right now. We're giving you a spiel. This is not a sponsored plug. We're just trying to get them to sponsor us.
We are trying to get sponsored.
Listen to us. Dang it. We've sold at least one can for you.
We did. And we have, I took pictures when I was in Hawaii of it. Oh yeah. And that's why we took a break too. You guys saw that Kyle's released. I was in Hawaii for 2 weeks. So we took a little break after going strong for over a year and a half.
Mm-hmm. We had to have a little bit of a break.
We did. But we did sell a can to Banner, basically. Yeah. And Banner is a believer at this point.
Yeah.
Because chassis has two different kinds. It's for your undercarriage.
Chassis.
It's for your grundle.
Man care for down there. All day protection, 4 times cooling action, contains no talc, if that affects you in any way. I don't know if it does.
Which is awesome.
Whatever.
They have two different kinds. They've got original and ice. Ice has a almost like cooling effect.
That's exactly what I just ordered. Like this moment.
Ice.
Yep.
So
she's on her
way
way in.
I would get a can of the regular too and try the difference.
Well, I got my one can. They sponsor us. I'll buy another can. You hear that, Chassis?
One on the grundle, one on the bundle.
So yeah, there's
So-
our shameless non-sponsor. Maybe they'll eventually just start paying us for doing that. But
Yep. So,
but
all
we
right,
believe in
Jesse.
this product.
We really do. Actually, I'm a believer. It saved me in DC, saved me in Florida. So yeah.
Let's talk about Marvel. Let's talk about Miss Marvel and that ending. So, okay, spoiler alert if you guys haven't watched.
Let's start with Doctor Strange.
Okay. All right. Oh, yeah, because we were wanting to talk about Doctor Strange. I wanted to make sure that you watched it.
Yes,
And
I
the
watched it
timing-
on the flight to Hawaii.
The timing of it was great because we were really on an Evil Dead kick there for a while. We did an
Mhm.
episode over Evil Dead. We were playing the new Evil Dead game, which is a blast. We probably
need to go back and play.
We need to go back and play that again. There's just so many games, but and we love Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell's just America's sweetheart, really.
Bruce, please come on our show.
Anybody that knows him, just give him a little tug on the ear. Anyway, and like try to get him to get on the show. We would love to have Bruce. So,
We would.
But yeah, so we were on this Evil Dead kick, and the connection there with the new Doctor Strange, Sam Raimi directed Doctor Strange. Sam Raimi directed the original Evil Dead. Without Sam Raimi, we wouldn't have the Bruce Campbell in our pop culture, and he's done cameos in all of Sam's movies, along with Sam's mother's car. The car from the original Evil Dead also shows up in the new Doctor Strange. In Multiverse of Madness.
Ted's in there too.
Somewhere. Yeah, I remember seeing that. He was
I'm looking.
I don't remember what he did. Bruce was in there. He was he a hot dog vendor?
He was the hot dog vendor.
But like the big thing, okay, so we had the cameos, we had the little nods that Sam does in all of his movies, but just the general feel of the movie. Okay, the general, atmosphere and the way the story was told and the way it was directed obviously had that Sam Raimi influence, but there was just so much Evil Dead influence in this movie.
It felt like Evil Dead to me.
Yes. There was practical effects used for some of the zombie-like characters.
Mm-hmm.
The music was amazing. The music was just great. It all like flowed together really well.
I enjoyed the movie. I
did
see
too.
why it got some of the hate it got. Pizza Papa. That was his name in the movie. Pizza Papa.
It was Pizza Papa. Okay.
I don't see why it got the hate it did. Okay, let's also, if you all have not watched Doctor Strange and Miss Marvel, you might want to save this episode for later. We are going to do spoilers.
Yeah.
We will put this at the beginning. I'll put this in the description too, but we will be doing spoilers.
Spoiler alerts abound. But there was just so much cool stuff that happened, from this movie. There's a lot of really cool, little nods to the future.
Mm-hmm.
I know there was at least one scene that you went crazy on.
Which scene?
Let me go back real quick. I harped on the music a lot because Danny Elfman did the music.
Oh, that's right.
You can hear that. And, Elfman's awesome from when he was, in Oingo Boingo back in the 80s, Dead Man's Party and Weird Science and all that to, doing the theme song for The Simpsons to doing, Nightmare Before Christmas, like all these Elfman, like he's a composer who just happened to get his start as a pop artist in the 80s. He's like a poppy Trent Reznor. Reznor does kind of the same stuff. He does scores and things like that, but known for Nine Inch Nails. The music was great, was on point. We got some obviously, multiversal stuff happening because it's in the damn title. And there was one scene. So I went and watched it with my daughter. And the scene where they're in the universe where Doctor Strange has died. Was he dead? Yeah, he was dead. And they're going to what was the name?
Which one? Because that was two universes.
Well,
are you talking the
one where he went to see the council? What was the name of the council?
The Illuminati.
Yeah, the Illuminati. And so I know the first big woo I got was when we saw John Krasinski as
Dr. Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic.
So did you avoid that spoiler before you watched it?
100%. I avoided every single thing I could for Doctor Strange.
So did you jump up in your airplane seat? Like,
I did.
"Woo!"
I did. Okay, so their universe was 838.
Okay.
So, yeah, so Krasinski was Reed Richards. We also had, what's his name? Anson Mount back as Black Bolt
Mm-hmm.
from the failed Inhumans TV show, which I think he looks the part of Black Bolt. So I was pleased with that.
I see, and I didn't even watch Inhumans, so I knew
You're
there
not
was a
missing
tie
much.
there.
We had Haley Atwell as
Mhm.
Captain Carter.
We got to see Captain Carter, so there was a little throw in from the
What If?
What Ifs.
Episode 1 of What If. We got to see
So Captain
Oh,
Carter,
what's
we
her
saw
name?
Black Bolt,
Photon, wasn't it? Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Lashana Lynch,
Yep.
who
And-
also played what?
She was, crap. What was her name? She was Maria Rambeau.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so in the alternate universe, well, wasn't it in this one? You may have to remind me. Didn't they lost the original Captain Marvel? She died or something like that, and she kind of took over the helm. Was that the story? Okay.
Yeah, that's the story with that.
But the big one.
So the big one was the do 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 do.
You see the yellow hover chair
And the
roll out.
bald head.
Well, when I saw the chair, okay, so I saw the chair first. I was like, "Ooh!" And I came up on the edge of my seat, and like, there's Xavier. I was not expecting it to be Patrick Stewart,
I wasn't either.
and then I came the rest of the way out of my seat in the damn movie theater.
Which it makes sense that they brought him in because they bought Fox
Yes.
and they have the right to the mutants now.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't hear the word mutant anywhere in there.
We did not, but we knew that
But we
yellow
knew.
chair. You know that yellow chair. If you're a
Yep.
kid of the '80s and the '90s, you know that yellow chair.
So, and then this is where what was significant about this was also, well, first we had Pizza Papa there.
Oh yeah.
And what did Strange do to Pizza Papa?
Oh, he messed with his hand. Like he
Made him
basically,
kept punching himself and
punching himself in the face.
and
so-
throwing his head down on his
So-
cart.
A huge homage to that scene in Evil Dead, to where Ash was fighting his own hand
Mm-hmm.
for the longest time, and so that was cool.
Awesome.
I caught that one. I loved that.
Yeah, I did too. This is also the movie where they designated our universe, the MCU proper, as
Yeah.
616,
Mhm.
which in the comics, that's basically like Earth Prime. That's where everything, all the 616 is where every multiverse diverges from.
And it was
That's
just
the main
recently
one.
confirmed when we talked about this before. Like there was a different designation given to the MCU Earth for a while
Before this movie. Yep.
before this movie, and now it's officially that Earth in the MCU is Earth 616, which is Earth from the comics.
RF.
Earth. Welcome to Earth. And somebody I wonder if anybody's like clipped that together and swapped the alien out
They
for
need
Chris
to.
Rock. Welcome to Earth.
Welcome
Anyway,
to Earth.
and so yeah, there were so many good things that came from this movie in that one scene.
That one scene. So
So it confirms the existence of at least Reed Richards. So we're going to assume Fantastic Four in some shape or form.
we had Mordo also. Mordo back.
Okay. We had,
Remember?
And who else did we got? There was somebody else.
The
that came-
Ultron robots.
Yeah.
Christine Palmer.
Mhm.
She didn't marry someone there. But
And the big thing, we got America Chavez.
okay, let's say I adore America Chavez's character.
Mm-hmm.
I can't pronounce her first name.
No.
So Xochitl. It's not because we're assholes. It's because
We
I
just don't
want to
know.
butcher it. Yeah, but last name's Gomez, so we'll say Miss Gomez, or just call her America. America Chavez.
Oh,
what
my
was
God.
so awesome about this one is, so she has so many powers. Like, she's super strong. I think she can fly in the comic, if I remember. And she creates these star portals into another universe.
Mhm.
What was significant about her versus everyone else?
Well, I mean, she was able to travel multiversally on a whim, basically.
But what else?
She was young.
Thank you, Fun. No, she is the only version of her in any multiverse.
Oh, yeah.
While there is multiple versions, infinite number of people, she's the only one. That's why Wanda wanted to go after her and get her powers, because Wanda had, which we knew it was the Darkhold to begin with,
Mhm.
but they confirmed it was the Darkhold. They did kind of change the Darkhold's origin a little bit in this movie from the comic, because the comic, the Darkhold was written by the Ancient Ones.
And the little
But the
temple
big
thing was
thing-
awesome.
What was it called? What did they call it? Not sleepwalking, wasn't it? Sleepwalker.
No, it was not Dreamwalker. Let me see here. It's been a few weeks since I've seen it.
Yeah, me too.
Basically,
Basically, what Kyle's finding it's the ability to, you can take your conscience, and as long as there's another you can implant yourself and dominate that conscience there.
I'm trying to find
But
what
there
they
has
called
to be
it.
another you there.
Yes, and she's the only her.
She's the only her, so she can't do that. And there was one where they were made out of paint, and you remember that, and she's like, you don't want to get trapped in that one.
Yeah, like the dimensional travel was cool.
Mhm.
When did we first see?
And I
let me look
believe
here.
she's her character's gay too. I know her moms are gay,
Yeah,
which caused huge backlash by the fanboy. Fuck you, fanboys.
yeah, it's there. So it'll eventually get better with the
Yeah.
reactions because it's just going. It's there. So
Well, I would say yes, but then when we get to Miss Marvel, we'll talk about that.
yeah,
I mean, it's canon now, so.
Mhm.
But
Trying to
they
see when
had
her
that, and we had
first
the
appearance
Ultron
was.
guards, which was awesome. I thought that was kind of a cool little homage.
Mhm.
What else did we see? There was a bunch in that Earth, and we got to meet Christine. Christine became like the authority on interdimensional and multiversal travel,
Mhm.
or universes.
It was cool to see them doing the science behind that
Right.
and giving a
It
little
was
bit,
really cool.
giving a little bit more science to it than it just being all like, "Ooh, it's weird," and it's happening because it is. It's like there's other dimensions and universes that are aware of it, and they're more advanced. So that opens the door for a lot of cool stuff too, with these more advanced dimensions and
Yep.
universes. And there's obviously other ones that are researching ways to travel, and so that they're setting themselves up really well for just a wide open. We can do whatever we want to now.
Well, this also makes you wonder too, what exactly they're setting up for.
I think you got some pretty solid theories on that. I mean, I think there's two big things that are being set up for. One, obviously, mutants, because we see Professor X, we see Xavier there.
And that's the repercussions we saw from WandaVision.
Mhm.
So what I also love about this movie is it's the throwback. We see the repercussions from WandaVision and Loki.
Yes.
Multiverse and Wanda's repercussion. And, spoiler alert, Wanda's the big bad. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Wanda was a great big bad. We knew that there's a good chance that she was coming up to be the next big bad. We had that kind of those thoughts back in WandaVision. And so we get Wanda as the big bad, which I think she's going to be running as the big bad for a while. I think there's going to be a lot more coming out of that, because I think they're going to play off of that story arc of oh god, I just forgot the name of it. Where she's like, no more mutants.
Oh, House of M.
House of M. Thank you. God, I can't remember anything today. It was there.
That could be like Phase 5.
Could be.
No, I bet Phase 5 will be mutants.
I think we're going to get a lot of this. Well, it could be both. Like that could be the end of it. And so I think we're getting a lot of this to set up for the mutants, because we saw the little hint back in WandaVision with Pietro, with fake Pietro.
They need to bring him back.
There was
I love Pietro.
Let's see, where else did they go? There's been a couple, like it's just been slow little hints here and there of acknowledging it and letting knowing that it's coming. And we got the big one, the final big definite push of it being there was in Miss Marvel and the finale we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Once we get to Miss Marvel.
And so I think the things that we're driving towards are mutants and Young Avengers. And I know you can speak on Young Avengers way better than I can, but just from seeing America Chavez, seeing Miss Marvel.
3 things: mutants, Young Avengers, and Dark Avengers.
Yes.
Or no. Thunderbolts. I'm pretty. They confirmed it's Thunderbolts.
Well, and we got that, and then we've got. There's a lot of things happening. We may sound overwhelmed because there's so much, and we don't. It's hard to tell. It's overwhelming with where the focus is going to be, because we've got the mutants in the mix now. We've got Young Avengers in the mix. Thunderbolts being hinted at heavily. We've got the Cosmic now. And now we've got, soon we're going to have Blade coming. So we have Blade, Moon Knight. We have. I
forgot up about Blade.
Is it Kit Harington's playing? Is it Black Knight?
Black Knight. Dane.
Black Knight. So you've got this kind of, you've got mutants. You've got young your traditional superhero types with Young Avengers. Then you have the cosmic stuff with Eternals and all that going on, which here or there. And then with Blade and all that, you have the dark, creepy stuff, which Moon Knight fit in really well with. And so there's all these different things going. I just hope we see Deadpool like in everything coming up now. He just shows up randomly.
I really, really hope Deadpool shows up and plays a bigger part.
I really
do. I don't have a lot of hope that'll happen, though. I think they want to see how 3 does.
I'm on the other side of that. I think it's going to happen because Deadpool showing up in something, that's their new Iron Man, right? Iron Man, you can say Captain America, you can say, Thor, whatever, with everything leading up to this. Iron Man is what held everything together with that first push of all the movies and everything. You were excited if you got to see Iron, like he was the linchpin for all of it. And I think that they're kind of like you. They're waiting to see what he can do, but Deadpool could be that big reveal. Like, oh, Deadpool's going to be. Okay, let me backtrack a little bit. Not as big as Iron Man, but he's going to be the thing that they'll use to draw for certain movies. I don't think
that is because Deadpool breaks the fourth wall.
Deadpool. Well, there's that, and
do you think he might be because he can narrate the multiverse?
Ooh. I didn't think about that.
What if he gets with what's his name, Uatu, the Watcher?
Mm-hmm. I would watch a whole series of them getting into shenanigans.
I would too. It's Deadpool and the Watcher.
Mm-hmm. It's catchy. Pitch it.
It is catchy, but Deadpool just pulls up with a bucket of popcorn and lube.
What if Deadpool is secretly a Watcher in training, since he can break the fourth wall?
He shows up with a shirt that says "I'm a Watcher in training," and then in the back, and then he just
wearing house shoes and a hairnet.
I like to watch.
What sucks is that they just because of Disney Plus and all that now, which Disney's going to start showing more R-rated type stuff,
which I'm thrilled with.
But you can't hamstring Deadpool like that to fit him into a PG-13 or a PG movie. He belongs in an R-rated movie, much like the Punisher belongs in an R-rated movie.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be used
Or-
sparingly, but he will be used
Or
very
Daredevil.
strategically in the movies. Yeah. Well, yeah, and then we got Daredevil. We forgot about that.
Daredevil Charlie Cox has been confirmed he will return.
Yeah. It is such a mishmash of all these old shows and movies and things that were kind of pushed together and ran by different studios and all that, and now they're all coming together.
Oh, they
And
confirmed.
it makes it confusing.
What's DeFornio? Yes, B-Rob, we know we suck at names.
Mhm.
Kingpin. They confirmed him too.
Okay.
They confirmed they're both going to be in the new Echo TV show.
And then we're going to have, I know Michael Keaton is supposed to reprise. He's supposed to be back in again.
Okay, technically he was in the new Morbius movie.
See, I haven't watched that yet. I need to watch that.
I haven't either. Just go look. I bought it. It was $10 for the UHD. I told Mrs. over here, I said, I'm going to have to get it just because I'm a completionist. But at the point I've heard, he goes, it's Morphin or Morbius time. Like, I wanted to punch myself in the nuts.
I just need to watch Morbius. And that is so weird.
Apparently he's in there, Michael Keaton.
Yeah, he is. I just kind of looked at that. So you have old Batman, which arguably one of the best Batmans.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the least accepted Jokers in a Marvel movie. Like, okay, anyway, we've talked about that.
We've been over
times.
that. Yep.
It still just gets to me. Like, all right, we're just jumping back and forth now. We're just gonna do whatever we want. But yeah, I need to watch. I might watch that tonight, just so I can check it off the list. But yeah, I mean, like you got him showing up in that, and I don't know. That's all. We'll stay with that. I don't want to go. I don't want to go down the Michael Keaton hole because he's one of my favorite actors, and he's just anyway. We have all this stuff from Multiverse of Madness. We have all this stuff that's coming up.
We had Defender Strange. That was kind of cool. Who turned into Zombie Strange?
The zombies in Multiverse of Madness were so much Army of Darkness, Evil Dead zombies. Like, it was great. You could just see it then, and I was loving it. And I know there's like a lot of people that didn't like it, and I couldn't understand why. Well, I understand why. I had some friends that were going to go watch it. I'm like, hey, have you ever watched Evil Dead? They're like, no. Or they were like, I kind of remember watching Evil Dead because you made me watch it or whatever. Like, well, rewatch it again before you go. Rewatch Evil Dead again before you go watch Multiverse of Madness. And you're going to see all these little similarities. You're going to see all this cool stuff. And that's why I really enjoyed the movie. Not necessarily all the good content from the movie, because there were some good parts and some okay. But just the whole feel of the movie, like, got me. And then,
talking Evil Dead or Multiverse of Madness?
Multiverse of Madness.
Yep.
And so,
I agree with that.
Just as an Evil Dead fanboy, I loved Multiverse of Madness because of that.
Well, and I think Multiverse
especially
of
the
Madness
last half.
cemented that Strange is the anchor, because they said you're the anchor.
Yeah.
For all these. We've seen that Strange is the anchor for all the. Okay, how cool was it that we saw Supreme Strange or Strange Supreme in there from What If too?
We're gonna see that was a very good decision by them to do the What If series.
Yep.
Just for the fact, well, I mean, they were cool episodes on their own. They established some cool multiverse stuff, but they allow for some really cool, I don't want to say cameos, but just some really cool nods back to that series. Yep. They can throw nods back to that series forever. And, so that was a good move on their part.
So
we get a lot of multiverse. Is there anything else big that we missed from multiverse that I can't think of right now?
We've established that Wanda is just strong as can be, and technically no one really stopped Wanda but herself.
Right.
I think that's going to play something bigger.
How cool was the temple?
The temple was awesome.
The temple was really cool.
Okay, and Wong?
Wong kicked, yes.
Wong was awesome.
Yep.
I love Wong.
Yep. They got the right guy.
They really did. I was a little disappointed we didn't see like Abomination or some other characters I thought we were going to see. But all in all, I really, really enjoyed the movie. And Clea.
Clea. Oh, Charlize Theron.
Yeah. Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, at the end. Yes.
Yeah, at the end. So, and then when his third eye opened.
Mm-hmm. I forgot.
So that's okay. So that third eye. Hold on, I'm trying to find the link. So the third eye is actually a homage to the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Strange, third eye comic. When
That's
in
something
the
he
comic,
said since the beginning of the comics, if I
Yeah.
remember right.
and that's also I think that's supposed to be like the eye of Agamotto or whatever.
Yes.
But there was also a point when he was kind of like an alien Strange, I guess you could say, another one,
Mhm.
and he had a third eye too. So that was, I think, kind of an homage.
It's freaky as hell for one.
It is freaky as hell.
And he's just like,
But that shows that Strange Supreme is still with him. Oh yeah, it is. I was right. It's an organic manifestation of the eye of Agamotto. The wisdom of the sorcerer Agamotto and his fellow Vishanti, allowing Strange to see his enemies' true intentions and break magical illusions. So it's not necessarily evil.
It's not the evil eye. It's just the all-knowing.
So Clea in the comics, she becomes Strange's wife.
Mhm.
She is, I want to say she was the daughter or the granddaughter of the Ancient One. She came from a very strong family, mystical family.
Mhm.
And
Lots
Strange,
of connections, really good investments.
really good, great investments.
Owned lots of real estate,
better.
had a yacht.
Trust in Clea. Strange recently died in the comics.
Mhm.
She's now the Sorcerer Supreme. So
Yeah, he can come back.
She's awesome.
Did he die in the main line or was it one of the offshoots?
Mainline, I believe.
Okay.
But
Well,
he's died a couple times.
They always come back. They're never dead.
Nope.
But her appearance, we were talking about how Strange was tying into a lot of the things. Her appearance and what she said really helped tie into Loki. Because, she appears, he's like, well, how can I help you? And she says, you caused an incursion and we're going to fix it. And so now
what is an incursion for those who didn't watch the movie?
Well, the incursion was a deviation from if I'm thinking right from Loki, that's a deviation from the sacred timeline. Like something different happened. And so now we've got the TV, like all that's going to start tying in together now. Are we going to see Morbius and Mobius in the same movie? I don't know. Anyway.
Okay, let's talk about that.
I hope so,
for
just for the confusion. I
Thanks
hope we see Morbius and Mobius in the same movie with Deadpool, so he can just be like
Morpheus,
red pill, blue pill,
Moped,
yeah,
PayPal.
There's $1 million joke just sitting there waiting to be written.
It's right there.
Listen to us, Marvel.
Do you think because of Spider-Man, we know that Venom does exist in 616 now.
Mm-hmm.
He left that little piece behind.
Yes. So,
do you think there will be a new Venom?
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking with that. So there was a little bitty bit of Venom left behind, right? Because he got transported, because Eddie Brock got transported universe. From his universe to this universe, or from his universe to 616.
The Spider-Verse to 616.
Yes. And so a little bit of Venom got left behind. So maybe that little bit of Venom is going to seek out the 616 Eddie Brock.
Oh.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a whole new Venom. I only want Tom Hardy is perfect for it.
Or I wonder if it's going to seek out
Peter Parker. Yeah.
Yeah. because
could be
he did
cool.
have a black costume. And we haven't been introduced to the Beyonder yet, who did Secret Wars, which Secret Wars is,
Being filmed right now, isn't it?
yeah, it's being filmed right now for Disney Plus.
Or they wrapped up filming, one of the two. It's really close.
Yeah, it's something, but they have Secret Wars, which the Beyonder was there. That's where Peter got the black costume. The black costume was the symbiote.
Mhm.
So that could all lead into everything,
Mhm.
which could lead into, or could have led into Blood and Thunder, or Love and Thunder, Blood and Thunder,
It's a different movie.
Love and Thunder, because Christian Bale was Gore the God Killer.
Mhm.
Gore the God Killer had is it the all black? That's what they, yeah, all black, the Necrosword, which was the first symbiote, which came from Null, the symbiote god.
He was red, wasn't? Was he red? I remember seeing a visual of him. He looked freaking cool.
Yeah, Null is awesome. So, and we'll go into Gore a little bit later, but I think it's all going to tie together somehow. But
there's so many arcs out there, and here's what I'm afraid of. Okay, so we're talking about all this cool positive stuff that's going to happen, and it's all going to be great. It's all happening in it's all happening in 616, right? There's just all this wild shit happening right now that at some point it has to all pull together. You have to have another end game.
Right.
You have to have something that brings all this stuff together. And before, when we had, just end game and all, like, that was easy. You had Avengers and you had these individual superheroes that came together as one group. Now you have all these individual superheroes with all these groups that are forming. How can you pull that together and make it work? That's going to be so hard to do and not make it cheesy.
I got a theory on that.
Let's hear it.
We know we're getting Fantastic Four will be the last movie, Phase 4. Krasinski said he is
Fantastic
not going to be
Phase
Reed
4.
Richards. Huh?
Yeah. Fantastic Phase 4.
Fantastic Phase 4. Krasinski said, no, this was literally a one shot to please the fans. That's all it was.
I'm glad they at least did that, though.
I don't believe that for a second.
You don't think so?
No, I know he loves the Fantastic Four. He loves Mr. Fantastic. I know he does. I think this is another fake out, which Disney and Marvel is famous for. Fantastic Four, their main villain is Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom's already been confirmed for Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. Their second biggest villain, literally biggest, was Galactus. There's the one, the Guardians are going to fight him, the gods are going to fight him. Galactus is he's a celestial from another universe, a universe that died.
Yeah.
He's the world eater because he constantly feeds on stuff. I think we're going to get a comics factual Galactus. He's going to come after Earth. I think that's what's going to bring everyone together. And then we might get the Silver Surfer, or we might get Fire Lord. We might get a bunch of them.
Here's kind of what I hope they do a little bit too. And this is going to be extremely unpopular. But, I mean, we're getting saturated with superheroes, right?
Herogasm.
I gotta catch up on the boys.
Me too.
There was also a rumor that Starr was going to play Dracula in the Blade reboot, but that's been kind of snuffed away because he'll be filming season 4 of The Boys at the same time. Anthony Starr, guy that plays Homelander.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a rumor that's in the rumor mill that he was going to play Dracula, or the version of Dracula. But season 4 of The Boys will be recording at the same time, so that's semi
with his bulldog jowls.
Semi squashed. What was I going with? Oh, okay. And so what I hope, like this is going to be unpopular. We got this just saturation of superheroes. We don't have a whole lot of bad guys. We got a lot of good guys. I don't have a whole lot of bad guys.
Who's the bad guys we have right now?
Oh God.
We got Kingpin.
Uh-huh. Dr. Doom coming up.
We've got Doom. We have.
If we're getting Xavier, we're going to get Magneto.
God, I hope so.
Mhm.
I wonder if we're going to get Apocalypse, who is the first mutant.
Probably. It would make
Or
sense.
Mr. Sinister.
I think we'll get Apocalypse. I think we're going to get Sabretooth.
God, Sabretooth would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. We have oh crap. Who did we see at the end of Eternals? The big bad? The big bad. That wasn't Galactus. That was or was that Galactus? Remember we saw him over the horizon? That was
Oh, that was one of the Celestials.
That was one of the Celestials, yeah.
Yeah, that Icarus turned on everyone. Icarus is rumored to be coming back for this phase. I bet he'll be a bad guy.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember who we saw.
I wonder if Killmonger will be back.
Maybe. But where I was getting with that, I hope they kill off some heroes. I hope they do to really make the bad guys more bad, to make them more believable. Because our hero, we got that a little bit back with the snap. Like, oh God, they're dead. And then, defeating Thanos, so we lose Tony Stark. But we haven't had a whole lot. When you compare the number of superheroes we have to the death count, not very many. And I think if they're wanting to, it feels like they're dipping their toe and getting into that darker and grittier. And I think we'll see that more with Blade coming on. We'll see darker and grittier. And we saw a little bit with Moon Knight.
Wanda.
Bad
guy.
Yeah, bad guy. Okay, yeah.
That's a big bad.
She's still alive.
And the Thunderbolts.
I think they're going to be chaotic. Aren't they more like chaotic neutral?
No, I mean, they're all back like Zemo, U.S. Agent. Well, U.S. Agent would be chaotic neutral. I guess Black. Yeah, I guess you could say they're that.
Yeah, they're not good guys. They're not bad guys. They're just guys.
Yeah. Well, and girl.
Yeah, we got Agatha's show coming up. There's so much stuff.
Oh yeah, Agatha.
Mm-hmm.
Agatha all along. Yeah.
But I hope we kill some off, and I hope it's not just like our low level. I say low level. Like you got your A team and you got your B team, right? Mm-hmm. And it feels like the B team's getting a little full, and they may have to, and it's because there's just so much content coming out all at once that I think it gets to a point you're like, well, we've got freaking 137 superheroes and we've seen 5 bad guys and their minions. Like, of course we're going to win everything out. We got to thin down the herd a little bit. Unpopular opinion, but I'm sticking by it. Let's kill some superheroes.
Well, as long as they're super strong, like Doom, Doom's been proven to take on everyone. Mm-hmm. Galactus could take on everyone. Mm-hmm. Wanda can take on everyone at her peak. And you're right. I'm thinking of all the characters we've been introduced to. We brought back Daredevil. Mm-hmm. We've brought back just the new ones. We got introduced to Black Knight.
Yep.
We have Star Fox got introduced at the end of Eternals. Mm-hmm. Harry Styles.
Yes, I forgot about that.
We have
he's more kind of neutral too, right? Though he's not.
He's an Avenger.
Okay.
So no, he's an Avenger. So Black Knight kind of rides the rails.
Yeah, Blade rides the rails.
Moon
Knight rides the rails.
Moon Knight doesn't even ride the rails. Moon Knight kind of
like whatever we're going to
pendulum swings. Yeah.
What mood are we in today? Let's look in the mirror and
find out.
Who's
in charge?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's Eternals we got introduced to. Clea we got introduced to. Mm-hmm. We got introduced to.
We still have Loki, who's plays both sides of the fence,
and he's not dead.
And he's not dead yet.
He's not dead yet. Well, and okay, so I'm gonna make this prediction without seeing Love and Thunder.
Okay.
In the comic, so Jane turned into Thor with Meow Meow.
Mm-hmm.
She became the Mighty Thor. So I'm guessing that's who she is in this one.
Probably. 'Cause, I mean, you can't
She-
go with Lady Thor. That, and I don't even
Lady,
like
Dr.
like-
Lady Thor.
Dr. Lady Thor. I don't even like the sound of Lady Thor.
No,
Like, it sounds like something that
it's
needs
Thor.
to get checked
It's
out.
Mighty Thor.
Lady Thor.
And then Volstagg became War Thor, but
And that just creates a
Jane-
whole other group.
it is Jane died in the comics of cancer.
Okay.
Every time she turned into Mighty Thor,
Mhm.
it hastened the cancer. It spread the cancer faster.
Okay.
So as soon as she changed out of Thor, the cancer was just eating her away. She died in the comics from cancer. I'm betting they're going to do that too, kind of give her a rest. But as we saw from the previews, we saw the Greek Parthenon. Parthenon.
I think so.
We saw Zeus. Who is the son of Zeus? The mighty what?
Hercules?
Yes. I bet we're going to get introduced to Hercules.
Okay.
Hercules, I have no proof of any of this because we haven't seen the movie, but this is kind of what I'm guessing because they want to introduce in more gods. And Hercules was a huge part of the Avengers, a huge part of the MCU or the Marvel Universe because he had a rivalry with Thor. They fought all the time.
Kind of our Thor Iron Man thing.
Yeah, that's
Revisited.
exactly it.
Or Thor.
Thor Cap.
Thor and Cap, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Cap and Iron Man. Cap started
yeah.
a lot of fights. He was in a lot of fights.
He was in a lot of fights.
Freaking jerk.
So
America's
I'm
ass,
wondering
100%, starting all these fights.
So I'm wondering if we're going to see Hercules and if they're going to make him kind of an enemy.
You know who I hope they cast for Hercules?
Who?
Kevin Sorbo.
Okay, let's talk about that for a sec.
No, I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I loved the Hercules show.
Mhm.
Hercules, a couple episodes were directed by who?
Sam Raimi.
Yes. And
Ted
Ted
was in there. Bruce was in there. Well, Bruce was in Xena. No, he was in Hercules.
He was the thief.
Yeah.
In Hercules. Kevin Sorbo's just turned into this fucking weirdo.
He's gotten weird. I haven't kept up. Like I've heard third and fourth hand of weird Sorbo things, and
I've read some.
I just haven't went down the rabbit hole. So
I'm like, you were so good in Andromeda too. No, I don't like you. So, anyways, I digress. So yeah. So I think they could introduce Hercules. He'll eventually go good, but I bet he'll be. If Zeus is in that, I bet he'll pit him against Odin's son.
I hope so. That would be
That's
cool.
Kind of my guess.
Well, and that would make sense too, because then you get the battle of the ancient
gods.
mythology. Yes,
Mhm.
and so that could be cool. God, what else we've been riding Doctor Strange for a little while. Let's go to Miss Marvel real quick.
Okay, Miss Marvel. I adored this series. Like, if you want just a wholesome series to watch with your family, this is it.
Mhm.
I called Kyle and I told him it was, what did I say it was like? What movie? Do you remember?
Oh God, I don't remember. It was one I was familiar with but hadn't seen.
Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
There it is. Yeah.
I likened it to that because when Kamala talks, like if someone texts her, like you'll see it in the background, like on a billboard or in chalk or something. It's very like that teen movie-ish feel, which we loved growing up.
There was some scenes. It also reminded me of there was an animated movie on Netflix last several months where they were fighting off the robots that became self-aware and like the
Mitchells versus the Machines.
Yes, it had a little bit of
that was such a great movie.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of that there too. Now, to get, I don't think you want to call this as a negative. There was times it had a very, how can I explain it? Like late 90s Nickelodeon kids show feel to it.
I can see that. Yeah. I can see that.
And there was sometimes because it was, first it was shot for a series, right? And so you don't have the budget like you do for the the big films.
Right.
And so you could see like our main characters, our main actors were great.
Mhm.
Our supporting characters were mostly great. You had some scenes in the background.
Brian was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, you mean Bruno?
Yeah, Brian. Oh shit, Bruno. I've been calling him Brian the whole
I've
time.
been calling you Brian this whole time. And so there was, you know, the time travel stuff and all that. Like a lot of that was really well done. But every now and then there's a few scenes, and they just kind of stuck with me. They felt almost felt like I was watching a Spy Kids movie. You know,
I can
like,
see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and not dogging on it at all. It was just you can tell where the budget hit them sometimes. Some of the scenes, you know, some of the scenes in the backgrounds, if there's crowds, they were very flat.
Yeah.
And,
I can see that.
But our main story, our main actors, all that, they were amazing.
Amazing.
100% amazing. So that's not me trying to, you know, dog them. It's just an observation of, you could tell there were some budget constraints because I don't think they expected this to be as big as it was.
No.
At all.
Number one show they have.
I mean, it's also a very new character.
And here's the thing with the character. So the show is based, the whole premise of the show is family.
Yeah.
You know, I think we'll agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
The show got undue criticism before it even came out because the first episode. She says it right. Little brown girls from New Jersey don't save the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's because she's female and she's brown. And was she Muslim?
Yeah,
she's Muslim, and
her family was Pakistani.
The fanboys did not like that.
I learned a lot from that show, just stuff because
Partition.
Yes,
I had no idea.
I didn't either. I did not know that either, and I feel bad about being ignorant about that, not knowing that Pakistan was formed from that, and that the large Muslim population from Pakistan were Indian immigrants.
Mm-hmm. I did not know that. They were two separate countries.
Well, they were, or they are.
They are now, but I thought they've always been though. I didn't know that they were one.
No, that's how. I mean, all the Muslim Indians were sent to Pakistan, and weren't really welcome there either. So there was a lot of stuff that I just didn't know, and so that was really cool. A really cool way to present that, and hopefully a lot of people caught that. But what I also thought was cool about that, and you're talking about her line, little brown girls from New Jersey don't save the world. Not a lot of representation. I mean,
representation matters.
Representation matters, and there's been something Marvel's always been very inclusive. I mean, we had Black Panther back in the '60s, but continuing that, this character. Let's see, when was Miss Marvel was not even written the comic until after the
I think.
Yeah, until after the movies were already in full swing and going and all that. And so this is a very new character, and just in the realm of Marvel Comics, making their way to the small screen and soon to the big screen. And so that was a quick jump, and it was just
2013.
Okay, so it was 2013. And then America, oh God, I just forgot her last,
Chavez.
America Chavez was 2011, 2013, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
So also newer. And this is something we kind of talked about with the Young Avengers. Not only that, we're having some really new characters coming through that are played by younger people. We had, what was it from Falcon and the Winter Soldier? What was his name? The kid.
Eli.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't have asked me, I could tell you.
But he'll be there's talk that he's going to take over as what does he become? Not Falcon, but a version of
Patriot.
Yeah. And so there's your, and that was, Patriot was a young
Elijah
Avenger,
Bradley.
Yeah, and Patriot was a young Avenger if I remember right.
Yep, he was controversial. Because when Young Avengers came out, he was dressed like Cap, except it was the old triangle shield.
Yeah.
Or whatever that shape is. and he was black. I remember and you guys gotta remember, this is well before the internet was in full swing too.
Yeah.
But I just remember reading like chats and stuff like, oh, he's black. Can't believe there was a Captain America that was black.
Mm-hmm.
News
Back
for
in
you,
the-
Skipper.
Yeah. Back in the 60s. I forgot what his name was. I mean, they talked about it in the show, but
Isaiah.
Isaiah, yes.
Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah. And there was a whole run, a whole series run on that arc of him back then, if I remember right.
Korean
No,
War, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah. Korean or Vietnam, one of the two. But like there was a whole run, print run on that about him as when he was Captain America then,
Mm-hmm.
which would be really cool to read, I think. So we've got Miss Marvel was a really good show. Me and my kids really enjoyed watching it, you know, and what's cool.
She's a great actress too.
She's a great actress. And just talking about the actress, let me pull up here because I forgot her name. But the character, you know, Kamala, hold on, Miss Marvel.
She was actually a Miss Marvel fan too.
Yeah, I would say her story really parallels the story of Miss Marvel because she grew up, she, you know, read Miss Marvel. She really connected with Miss Marvel. That was a character that she loved, much like how Kamala loves Captain Marvel
Yep.
and admires her, you know, and now she gets to become a superhero. Well, now the girl that plays Kamala, Iman Vellani,
Yep.
in the same way, you know, and so it was really cool to. And she is Pakistani. She was born in Pakistan,
and most of the staff is brown people too, which I thought was awesome.
It was such a cool show.
It was a great show. Like I said, feel good show with your family. Like I highly recommend it. It's just very well written.
We can talk, you know, since we've been talking about the future of things in Marvel, we kind of hit with the Young Avengers coming out of Miss Marvel. But let's talk about
Miss Marvel.
Let's talk about that scene at the end.
Okay.
The big reveal.
So the big reveal. Well, okay, let's go. We can't talk about the big reveal without explaining her power set first.
Okay. Go through it. You explain power sets really well.
Because what happened is she found is it a bangle?
It was a bangle.
It was a bangle. From her, was it Nanny? I think she called her Nani.
Ami.
Her grandma. And she couldn't get it open. Her grandmother. She put it on. It glowed. It unlocked these powers, and it's like this energy-based power. This had a lot of fans upset because in the comics, she got her powers from the Terrigen Mists. The Terrigen Mists are what makes Inhumans. Inhumans, which was a different failed property. By all rights, she should be an Inhuman. A lot of people are upset because she could create these little like crystals out of the air and made her her big thing is like she can stretch like Mr. Fantastic and make big fists and big feet, stuff like that. Throughout the series, then you come to find out she's a djinn from a different universe. It's a universe that's parallel to our own, which the red masks, red scarves,
yes, red masks,
they had a map that overlaid so you could see it, but their universe was just too powerful. The whole thing was they had the Clandestine.
Yeah.
Clandestine was another Marvel comic, which I really loved. It was different, but it wasn't anything like this. They had, so they're what you call the unseen or the jinns. Extremely long-lived, and they could tap into the Noor, Noor, I believe it was. That's what her crystal power was in the show. I'm like, okay, that's how they bring it together. That's kind of cool how they explain the power set. I was very accepting of that. I think you were too at that point. You're like, oh, okay, we'll go with that.
I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to power sets.
And power tools.
Mhm.
So we find out she's a djinn. She comes from the family. And I will admit, I didn't think too much on it, but I did think, okay, I'm thinking about this now. Why can she do this, but the rest of her family can't? Tap into the Nor.
Yep.
We also met, what was Cameron?
Cameron. Yeah, Cameron.
Cameron.
Mhm.
Cameron was the son of one of the leader of the unseen, or the clandestine. He was not able to tap into the Nor. The whole point of the thing was that if they try and go back, Bruno found out that it would basically destroy the world. It's like you need a sun to power it. And as they were starting to go back into it, it destroyed them. And the mother, Kamala, was like, hey, what about your son? He needs you. She sacrifices herself for Cameron.
Mhm.
And all her powers that she tapped into again went to him. So he has the same power set now as Kamala. Cool. Isn't that by definition a mutant? Your DNA gets changed, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
That's what you think.
You're mutated.
You're mutated. Well, like I said, this was in the back of my head, but I didn't think too much of it because I was just enjoying the show. But why was her family descended from jinns, but she's the only one who had powers? The end of episode 6, there was a bonus scene with Brian.
Bruno.
And yeah, that's what I said. Bruno and Nakia. He said, hey, so I was looking into your DNA. And she's like, why? And he's like, your brother was trying to figure out, since he's a Gen 2, why he doesn't have powers. And I'm like, okay, where are we going with this? And he said, I found something. It's a mutation in your DNA. And I started banging on the pillows, like screaming at that point, because
my jaw
playing?
dropped.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so there was enough of a pause. So he says that, my jaw drops, and then you hear very faintly in the background. And so I went from jaw drop to
Did you start screaming?
I was like, oh, ooh.
Yeah.
And so again, my daughter, because I watch all these with her, she picked up on the mutation part, right? So she picked up on mutant, and so she knows mutant, X-Men. She's like, ooh, or she knows mutant. I was like, did you hear that? And she's like, hear what? Like, did you hear the music? She's like, no. So I rewound it and I cranked it up super loud, and she heard it, heard the and she's like, what is that? I was like, you might not know what that is. She goes, I think I should know what that is. That sounds like I should know, but I don't know. I was like, well, hang on, we'll finish this out. So we finish it. I get on YouTube and I pull up the intro to the X-Men animated series from the 90s and play that intro. And so as soon as it started playing and she heard it, it clicked with her. And she got the same look on her face. She's like, yep, X-Men. Like then, like, yes, that's what I'm excited. And she's like, yes. And so, there's been subtle hints, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would even say the Xavier in the alternate universe was still could have been played off as a fan service kind of thing, right?
Right.
Because that's a different universe. That's not in 616. So you can do whatever you want in all these other multiverse or these other universes to play some fan service, right? Just like the supposed John Krasinski thing and all that. You can do whatever you want with those. Don't mess too much with 616 unless you really mean it. This happened in 616. That music was played. That to me, that's the most obvious. Like we've heard mutants mentioned before in 616, and we've seen characters that we know are mutants before in 616.
Yep.
Gatro. We saw in Billy and Tommy. We saw Wanda. And what's the name of the city that Wolverine would hide out in?
Madripoor.
In Madripoor, the lady that was like kind of running the club for the other guy, she was a known mutant as well. Like her name, I'm digging really far back, and I can't remember which movie it was.
Lily?
I don't know. She was only in there briefly, and I think she got killed. It may have been in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Did they go to Madripoor and Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Uh,
Or was that? Let me look here.
who
But there was a character there that oh, it's when they went with Zemo. Yeah. So let me find here.
Principality of Madripoor.
But anyway, they ran into a character there that was a minor character from the comics who was a mutant. And so that was like one of the other nods. But this, I think, this is just sending it home. We have a mutant confirmed, a mutant superhero confirmed.
Oh, Tiger's there too. I forgot.
Yeah. That may be who I was trying to think of.
Rose Wu, maybe?
Not sure. It was the episode where they went with Zemo.
O'Donnell was the co-owner of the Princess Bar.
Was it the Princess Bar that they went to?
Yeah, that's the main one.
No, I'll tell you really quick.
He had a thing with Tigers. That was in a lot of What If, or not the What Ifs, the Marvel Comics Presents.
Here you go. So it was like episode 3. Oh, it was the whole power broker thing. Let me see if I can see what this person's name was. Let's share the top cast. Does it show for just for this episode? I need it just for this episode. But anyway, we got our actual first, real like mutant confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's big. Like I don't know if I was more excited at that or when we saw Xavier in Doctor Strange.
I think I was more excited for this.
I think I got a bigger reaction for that music because it was more subtle.
Mm-hmm.
It was timed really well.
When the implications are huge.
Think of the implications. Think of the implications.
Hughes called it too. He said, I thought that they've already addressed the mutants thing in WandaVision when she created the field. I'm like, oh, you're right. But they never officially said it. This is where they said the word mutation.
So they actually uttered the word mutation.
Why is this big for the MCU? I think my theory is, so Brian is going to go to CalTech.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this could open the door to him meeting like a young Hank McCoy, aka Beast.
Yeah.
Forge. Like there's a lot of geniuses that could be there. Like so in the comic, Brian loses his arm in an accident while he's studying in Wakanda. Makes good friends there. They build him this arm, like this laser arm, and he becomes a superhero too. He and Kamala actually romantic interest in the show. That's the other thing. It's like you can see him pining for the nerd girl, but she doesn't even see him.
Yeah, she doesn't catch it.
So I think that hit all of us in the nerd balls there because we've all been there.
Poor little fella.
But so I think this could open the door for us meeting the mutants there at CalTech. And this could be where we meet like Mr. Sinister also, or the current incarnation of Sinister. I think it's Miss Sinister.
Well, and
because Sinister is a genius geneticist.
Here's something
we
else.
Could meet Moira McTaggart there too. And if we meet Moira, we could meet her son, Kevin McTaggart, who becomes Prometheus. Prometheus is one of the strongest mutants alive. So I think, we could see a grant from. That else was in the Multiverse of Madness. Was Christine was getting her funding from the Baxter Foundation.
Yes.
Which is the Fantastic Forest Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if there will be like the Baxter Foundation, like building at CalTech, if they explore this more.
Here's something that I keep racking through my brain. I mean, you've talked about this several times before. We knew mutants were coming, so that we know you can't have Marvel mutants without having X-Men. You can't have X-Men without Xavier and his school. Okay. So timeline wise, are they going to, is the school already established and it's just that secretive that we don't know about it, right? We haven't been told about it, so that means we would get an old Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
Or are we going to see the beginnings of the mutants? As we see with Miss Marvel, she finds out that she's a mutant.
Right. And Monica's a mutant now.
And Monica's a mutant. But then we get Damage Control, too, to talk about, too. And
they were interesting.
Because I wonder if that's like the beginnings of the... I can't remember what they were called. It's basically like a mutant containment force.
The guards.
The guards. And that's where you get the big sentinels and all that from.
Damage Control, Marvel.
And so... that makes me wonder, like, they were, going after, like, they had notification of these enhanced individuals. I think they called them enhanced or something like that.
Yep.
And so were they looking for quote unquote enhanced, or are they hunting down mutants because there's this stuff going on that nobody knows about? Xavier's got his school for exceptional kids that's already in force, or is this the beginnings of it?
Oh, I remember that. Okay, so Damage Control was supposed to be a TV show. They're the cleanup crew, overworked and underpaid cleanup crew of the Marvel Universe. Their specialty is dealing with the aftermath of the unique fallout from superhero conflicts, like returning lost ray guns to the rightful owners, rescheduling a wedding venue after it's been vaporized in battle, or even tracking down a missing prized African parrot that's been turned into stone or goo. Sometimes the most important heroes are the ones behind the scenes. So totally different from the comics.
Okay. Well... Okay, they weren't, because they didn't go to cleanup. They were going for containment.
They were going for containment, so totally different. But, okay, I think that the Xavier School already exists, just not in the format for mutants. Because that's the thing. Xavier School has been around forever in the comics, if you think about it. And no one knows that it's a school for mutants because it's a school for gifted youngsters.
Right.
So it's hiding in plain sight.
I think so too, and I think it's already there. And one thing to like really hammer it home that I think it's there, and it's been existing for a while, is when in Doctor Strange, when we had the multiversal travel, and we saw Xavier, like we're traveling. They weren't leaping. There wasn't a time jump. It was a lateral jump, right? You're not going forward in time. You're not going backward in time, and going into a different universe. You're going laterally, same time. There's no time travel. It's just universe travel. So they're in this other universe at the same time. That means you have.
Technically, you could go to a future universe that's parallel.
Technically, but I don't think they did. I think
they didn't.
I think we're doing lateral movements in universe travel, no forward and backwards in time. So when they went to that universe, it was that universe at the same date, time, whatever, as 616, which means Xavier already exists. If he exists there, he exists in 616, and he's old and he's got his school, and we're going to see Patrick Stewart, hopefully. Well, possibly. I
bet we're going to see a younger Xavier.
You think we'll see a younger one?
Okay, what's the one I sent you today?
Okay,
who's rumored to be the new Xavier?
Oh, Giancarlo Esposito,
which is awesome. Moff
Gideon, the Chicken Man, like. That could be cool. He would be an amazing,
awesome. Well, he's got the voice for it too. He's also, what's his name in The Boys, the president.
Oh yeah.
So I think here's how I think.
I mean, and he's hot right now as far as actors and things go.
He's a hot property. Yeah. I
He's a
agree.
hot property.
So here's why I think they haven't found the school yet. Because it's not called the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters. I bet that'll change now that mutants exist. Because I think Wanda was the catalyst. This is how they introduced him.
Yeah. Well, we kind of we knew that for a while.
Yeah, we knew that.
Kick off.
But her and Pietro were already mutants, though.
Mm-hmm. Depending on
Xavier's
that depended on which storyline you went with too, though, right? Because there was okay.
So, but oh, and by the way, I was sure we were going to see the High Evolutionary, who's a cosmic being, and Wendigore or whatever it's called. He was the master of that. He created the Beastmen and all sorts of stuff.
Well, and didn't we also need the Celestials?
Yep.
For mutants to happen, because that was
that's what we thought about Eternals.
Huh?
That's what we thought. Remember, we thought about the Eternals.
Yeah.
That Cersei was the first mutant.
Because you needed that to have mutants because of their little experiments. Right. Okay. Hold on. My brain was getting crossed there for a second, but I think I was following where I was.
No, I know. I'm following what you're saying.
And so I don't know. Like, think we may.
I wonder if WandaVision, when Wanda did the bubble, expanded the bubble infinitely, if she hit Cersei, if that runs parallel to the timeline, and that's how Cersei could freeze the organic matter. She became a mutant.
So that caused the mutation.
Yeah.
If
we ever see Eternals again.
That would mean that Cameron is also a mutant. Because from the
mutation,
the mutation from the chain. Okay, because it was the interdimensional. Okay, so maybe that's what does it somehow is the interdimensional travel, right?
Yeah.
Because Kamala did it, Ms. Marvel did it. She traveled she traveled time in a way. So maybe that kicks the mutation. I don't know.
So apparently that wasn't even Kevin's idea, was to introduce mutants in the show. That wasn't even his thing.
No, well, and they said that I found it here. Let me pull that article back up.
Yeah, pull that one while you're doing that. And where was I going with that? It was what were we talking about? Mutants?
Well, they said that they never wanted her to be an Inhuman.
Oh, yeah.
Where was it here?
And this is the perfect opportunity to introduce mutants.
Yeah. It's been coming.
So, okay. So I know why they didn't, how Xavier's school is hiding in plain sight. Because I think it's going to change to Gifted Youngsters once they start recruiting the mutants. Because the first one was Jean, I believe, was the first student.
Jean Grey was his first student.
And then it was Cyclops, I believe.
Because they did have, because if you go back to the Foxmen,
right?
That's when Professor X and Magneto kind of came together and they found Jean and they started with that.
Right.
Which is, also, funnily semi-ironic that your first mutant is named Jean.
All right.
But mutated Jean. Anyway.
So the reason they can't find the school because it has a different name right now.
Did it have a different name previous in the comics? Is what I'm trying to remember.
No.
Or if I'm knowledgeable of.
But I think this is where they're going to go in the movies with it. Because I think that the name of the school, current name of the school right now, is the Derek Zoolander School for Kids that can't read good and want to do other things good too.
You've been setting that up.
And then
the whole freaking episode.
And then the way that they settle their disputes is they break dance fight.
God. Well, they wouldn't need a backer for you got me good. Wouldn't they need? Well, I mean, Xavier he came from money.
Yeah, Xavier came from money. Magneto. The way Magneto had money was that Nazi money he got.
Mm-hmm. But see, you can't do that now. Unless you go with super old Magneto and Xavier.
Unless it's time travel.
Possibly. I don't want to do more time travel.
Or
Time travel hurts my
I
brain.
I bet they'll do multiverse.
I can handle multiversal better than I can time travel.
Yeah.
Because multiversal, then just everything's up for grabs. Time travel, you got to deal with all the implications.
Yep.
You know, Futurama showed us that.
Yep. 100%. Well, we were watching. Oh yeah. So when Kamala was found to be her great grandmother's or her grandmother's savior with the stars that led her.
Oh yeah, it was her grandmother. Yeah,
it was her grandma because her great grandmother said, "It's you. I've been waiting on you. Save her." And then she's like, I don't have stars. I don't know how to do that. Then when it exploded, it became the stars.
Yeah.
Again, she is a great little actress. She really is. I looked and I go, this is just like when Fry became his own grandfather.
It's not just like it. There's some differences. It wasn't the exact same thing. There's actually a lot of differences.
It was funny when I said that. Give me that.
Anytime time travel happens in anything now, I think of that Futurama episode.
I do too.
And then I always get stuck thinking about, well, this is just like a never-ending loop, right?
Yep.
Because now the grandma's going forward, and she's going to have the kids, and then they're going to go back, and you just got this loop of stuff or whatever.
The reason they're all so stupid, Fry's family, well, besides Farnsworth, is they're inbred.
Mm-hmm. We need to do some more Futurama stuff sometime.
Yeah, we do. So next shows that are coming up, next things.
Okay.
We have we're a month away from She-Hulk, which I'm actually pretty excited about.
Yeah.
Because we've seen Abomination. We know Banner's back in that. Not Funko Banner, but Bruce Banner.
Mm-hmm.
The Hulk. We have She-Hulk. We have
Oh, hold on. Before we get too far into this, one more thing on X-Men, and then we can move on.
Yep.
Okay, so we're talking pre-show about San Diego Comic-Con coming up.
Yep.
And so crap, I just lost it and I had it. Let me find it again. There is
D23 is coming up also.
So
where they're supposed to drop some big bombs at D23 in September.
They're saying it's inevitable, Marvel's going to bring out the big guns at Comic-Con. There are 2 Marvel Studio panels for Comic-Con set up. Okay.
Really?
There's one for the live action stuff that's coming out. And then there's one for the animated series, the Marvel animated series. The 3 shows that they're going to discuss at that panel.
What If?
I Am Groot, What If Season 2, and the 1997 X-Men. They're going to discuss. Yeah. So this is from MSN.com. It's worth noting there are 2 Marvel Studio panels, one for the animated series, including I Am Groot, What If Season 2, and X-Men 97.
Well, yeah, because they're bringing that back. They're doing a new iteration of it.
Yeah. But still.
No, that's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. Who do you think the first X-Men is going to be that they're going to introduce? I know who I think. I think it's the most popular X-Men.
You think they're just going to come out guns blazing with Wolverine?
100%.
I would love that.
Or no, it'll be like Dupe. Or Elixir.
I would absolutely love them to lead off with Wolverine. And
or Beak.
The Wolverine casting choice, I think, is the most important casting choice that they have made to this point, including casting for Tony Stark, casting for Captain America, casting for
Thor.
all your Spider-Mans, casting for Thor, all that.
Black Widow.
Wolverine is the most important casting choice that they have ever made. Hands down.
He's who you think of when you think of Marvel. To me, that's one of like the top 3 when you think of Marvel.
Well, yeah, because especially around our age, because we grew
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was our introduction, but man, that X-Men and Wolverine was just badass and cool.
Yep.
You loved Wolverine. And so that's their most important casting choice. And I think if they come out of the gate with Wolverine, you lose some build-up and excitement, right? Mm-hmm. So I think if they lead off, with a couple of mutants, a couple of X-Men early on, would be Jean Grey, Cyclops, Beast, whoever. Then you bring in Wolverine, because then he's got to be coming soon. He didn't show up here. He's going to be in it.
Said Dazzler's coming too.
Said who?
Dazzler. They said
Dazzler.
Dazzler's going to be in the MCU.
I gotta look here.
Dazzler could lead into Longshot because her and Longshot were lovers. You know, his power was luck.
Mhm.
He came from the Mojoverse, which is an alternate multiverse where everything's a big TV show run by Mojo.
Not the monkey from.
Not Mojo Jojo, or not Pray for Mojo. This is the Mojo with the spider legs, which he could be a big bad, and then they could also lead into Spiral is from there, and the X Babies. Actually, B Rob and I were talking about this when he was on his way home last week.
Okay, so the original possible push for a Marvel Cinematic Universe back in the day was going to be led by Dazzler.
Mm-hmm. They have said Dazzler's coming too.
I still don't think they're going to lead off with Wolverine.
I don't know. I think they will. I think they're going to swing.
I mean, I hope they do, but I don't think they will. The way they kind of slowly roll stuff out, I think that would be the big punch. I don't think they're going to lead off with a Wolverine movie.
No. I don't think it'll be a movie. I think they're going to lead off with the first mutant X-Men that they're going to show an appearance of. Like he's going to be like at the end of Fantastic Four or something.
Okay, well maybe that. Okay, so let's backtrack
like,
on
and you
that
might
then.
not even see who it is. You might just like see his face smiling and that classic Wolverine, like the cigar in his mouth, like "What's up, bub?" And he does this.
Okay. I see what you're saying now. So you think the first reveal will be like a post-credit scene reveal for Wolverine?
Yep.
Not necessarily the first movie. And
No,
maybe
not
even
first
be
movie.
in the first movie.
I'm talking reveal.
Okay, I can get behind that. Yeah, I can see. Yes, that's probably going to be it. I mean,
or Duke.
We already got Xavier, and so yeah, I could see that. I could see that happening.
Okay, so we've gone through all that.
Mm-hmm.
They're also setting up for Young Avengers because we have most of the crew there. We have Patriot, Elijah Bradley.
Yeah.
From Falcon and the Captain America and the Winter Soldier. That's another movie that's coming up too. I think that started filming. Is Captain America the next with Sam Wilson as Cap? We have Elijah. We've been introduced to Wiccan and Speed, Timmy or Billy and Tommy, Wanda's kids.
We're probably going to get a Hulkling if we get a She-Hulk.
Probably. Okay, no. So
do you think
in the comics, Hulkling is a Skull Prince, a half Skrull.
Right. I'm saying, I think that would be the order. You got Hulk, then you got She-Hulk. Okay, now we got to show a little Hulk.
I think we've already been introduced to Hulkling.
Oh yeah.
In Miss Marvel.
Who do you think it? Okay, I missed that.
Remember the ship full of Skrulls? I bet Hulkling was in there somewhere.
Okay.
It's one of the kids.
We've seen Wiccan.
Or it's going to be from Secret Wars. We're going to get Hulkling.
We've got Kate Bishop.
Mm-hmm. So Hulkling looks like Hulk. You think Hulk is that, but you find out that it's a Skrull. Kate Bishop turns into Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
We've been introduced to Stature already. That's Cassie Lang.
Yeah.
She basically gets bombarded with after hanging out with Scott for so long, the Pym particles like absorb into her.
We've seen a kid Loki.
Yep, we've seen a kid Loki.
We've seen America Chavez.
Yep, America Chavez is one. Here's the other one. I bet we've already seen this, or the possibilities there. Is it Iron Lad?
Iron Lad. That was Nathaniel Richards.
Iron Lad was originally one of the iterations, a young version of Kang the Conqueror.
As I was saying, I was kind of reading a little bit about him here.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Richards one day became Kang the Conqueror. armed with a suit given to him by Kang of the future. And then he leaves to become Kang. Okay.
Yep.
I can buy that.
And yep. So, and it's just an alternate version. Like it's one where this Kang does not want to become evil.
Mhm.
He doesn't like what he becomes. So, I think we've got the I think we've got the Young Avengers already. We know
So
we have
that-
the Thunderbolts.
The whole Iron Lad thing, that could be a really cool concept for them to go on with the time travel thing. So
Yep.
it's like, hey, I don't want to become what I become. I'm going to go into the past and try to convince my former self that, or my younger self, like, hey, don't go down that path, right? And then they explore that whole thing of, destiny versus, or predetermined destiny versus free will. And then he's going to struggle with the whole, like, well, I can't avoid my destiny. And then the big thing at the end, he does just that, or kills off the alternate version of himself or something like that. So that could be cool.
Yeah, I think that could be awesome. Yeah, I forgot American Chavez was one of the Young Avengers in later issues.
Mhm.
But we have that.
She was in like version 2.
Like version 2. Yeah, not the original.
Yeah, because your version 2 ones,
This is early 2000s.
you had the original Young Avengers, which were Iron Lad, Hulkling, Patriot, Wiccan, Hawkeye, Stature, Young Vision, which was based off of the Iron Lad tech, Speed, and then you had version 2, which was Kid Loki, America Chavez, Marvel Boy, and Prodigy. Which you won't get Prodigy until you
Prodigy's
get
an
mutants.
X-Men, by the
Yeah.
way. Prodigy's super smart.
But he lost his mutant abilities on M Day.
Yep.
So would we?
And here's the thing: if people are mad that America has 2 mommies and China banned it, buckle up.
Hey, is it Wiccan? Let's see.
Wiccan and Hulkling are gay.
Yeah. Oh, we've already got.
Although technically Wiccan's or Hulkling's a Skrull, so he could turn himself into a female if he wanted.
Kind of Loki like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Loki slept with everything. Horses.
Yeah, he didn't care.
Wolves.
He had
Whatever.
to get his thing on.
He had to get his thing on, literally.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's around the corner. We just don't know when. I have a feeling both those are next phase 5, because phase 4 is winding down. Like, it's hard to think about it, and hard to think that we're almost 3 years into phase 3 or
Mhm.
phase 4, but phase 4 is winding down. Like, which is just nuts to me to think.
Like that fast, yeah.
So yeah, we've got those. We've got Thunderbolts. We've got Young Avengers. We've got She-Hulk. We've got Iron Man, or not Iron Man. Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumania.
Yep. This stuff. Let's see what we get coming up here.
Flash fact: Wasp was originally supposed to be one of the Illuminati.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying. Let me see if I can find the article.
Oh, she was supposed to be in there as okay. I think it's good they didn't have anybody that they would immediately recognize, like in that.
Okay. Yeah. Wasp was supposed to be in Doctor Strange 2. In the encounter with Wanda, she would have shrunk and would have flown towards her. Wanda was going to clap her hands and crush her.
What's this? There's a Nova project in development.
Oh God, yeah, I've heard about that too. So I think we're gonna get Richard Rider, aka Nova, not the crappy Nova corpse in the ships, but actually the helmet Nova. So I hope it's Richard Rider.
Mm-hmm. Daredevil series coming to Disney Plus. So Comic-Con's going to be huge, is really what it is.
And I think we need to go to Comic-Con one year.
Ironheart, Armor Wars, Agatha House
of
Harkness.
Ironheart 2. Riri Williams her show's in development right now.
Okay.
She is just as smart, if not smarter, than Tony Stark. She built her own Iron Man armor. In the comic, Stark's ghost, I guess you could say, was programmed into one of his armors that she got a hold of, some components. And so it talked to her. It was like a mentor. But she is a great character. So she could become a central figure in this whole thing.
Ooh, you see who's going to? It's still like early development, or
Mhm.
still in development for Captain America 4, because you have you have Sam as Captain
Right.
America. The director is Julius Ona, who directed the Cloverfield Paradox, which was a really cool movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's going to be cool.
It was.
So we got
what else
Blade.
was- Oh yeah, Blade. We're supposed to have the Midnight Suns also. Blade. That's Hannibal, who's a
We also-
vampire.
There's so we got vampires and all that going, and then there's
Ghost Rider is one of the Midnight Suns.
the Halloween special that's been confirmed that's coming up with Gail Garcia Bernal. The Halloween special is going to be called Werewolf by Night.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Werewolf by Night.
Mhm.
I forgot about that one.
we're
And
supposed to
Werewolf
have
by
that
Night
this year.
sometimes teams up with the Midnight Suns. Yes.
What else is cool that's coming through before we run way too? We've been going for a while. I told you we
We've
would.
been going for.
About an hour and a half
That's
ish. I don't know. Whenever I messaged you earlier, we've been
normal for us.
making a good run on it. Oh yeah, we've been going. Actually, we're creeping up on almost 2 hours.
Oh yeah, we probably need to add.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool stuff that's coming up. Like what I'm hoping to see really soon. Okay, I'm not gonna do the Mephisto joke. I've been trying to think of a way to work it in, but since we're talking about rumors and stuff, here's what I'm thinking. At some point in time, this is going to keep making money for a long time, but it'll eventually wind down, right?
Right.
At some point in time, it's going to wind down. I still think we're going to see Mephisto.
I do too.
I think they're hanging on to that because that might be arguably one of their biggest movies when it's revealed that, hey, that's going to be the big bad. And I don't know if he'll be the final big bad, but
Watch it be Wong.
watch it be Wong. But because I don't think he stands on his own as the biggest big bad, because there's so many other really good big bads. But the hype that was generated around him in WandaVision. Well, okay, hold on. I want to take that back. We probably will see him sooner than we think, because that hype from WandaVision is still pretty good. Mephisto's still talked about. If they wait too long, that hype will die off. And so I say the next 3 years, 3.5, we'll see something with him in it.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So why don't you guys tell us what you think? If you think we're idiots, let us know.
We are. You don't have to let us know that. But
I
still,
mean,
participate.
So thank you for listening to us ramble about our thoughts and kind of recaps where we are. Kneecaps, recaps. Derek Zoolander School.
Great to be back on the mic.
Yep. So thank you for allowing us into your homes.
Yep. And so wherever you guys are, thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to Every Man's Guide to Nerdom. Follow us. We got episode 100 coming up really soon. Wherever you guys are, have a great morning, evening, night, whatever time it is, and please be good to each other.
Nerd culture
See ya.
rise up. It could get elevated. Nerd culture rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore used to be just a made up word. MCs shied away from